Welcome to Midnight Voices. Tonight, our garden glows with lanterns that whisper, fossils that hum, jars that giggle, poems that taste like regret, and a clock that argues politely with time itself. Here's who has wandered into the studio. Mateo, caretaker of lanterns that show shadows from forgotten rooms. Clara Velvet, who keeps an archive of dreams on parchment, some of which tried to mail themselves back. Julian Moss, who listens to fossils until they sing sea songs or lecture him about flossing. Yasmine, collector of jars that bottle laughter, wind, and the rarest of things, hope. Lee and Luna, twins who recite poetry found on statues and who once folded regret into a paper boat. And Dr. Parchment, inventor of a clock that allows pie to stretch and shrink so nows from different realities can meet for coffee. We're ready. The lamps are lit. Do they ever speak?
Silence with intention. The room feels like it remembers you. One lantern once whispered left pocket and then went out. I checked mine. There was a receipt for a sandwich I never ordered.
Clara Velvet, what has the Dream Post delivered this week?
Compass dreams. The needle spins and then points to silence. A dreamer followed it to a mossy wall where someone had scratched a poem at knee height. It read, "Take one step toward wonder and the next step finds you." The journal ink dried in a pattern that looked like stars.
Has anyone tried to mail a dream back?
Yes. One envelope arrived containing only the scent of cinnamon and a drawing of a door labeled "Not Yet." I opened it and sneezed myself into a nap. When I woke, my shoes were wet and my cat was bilingual.
Julian Moss, teach us to hear a stone.
Night air helps. Crickets provide a metronome. Tap the fossil very lightly and wait. Some answer with a faint tone that repeats in a pattern. I brought an ammonite that hums a sequence matching old survey coordinates. It is as if the sea kept its own noble.
Do they ever argue?
One trilobite quakes whenever I lie. I told it I floss daily, and it emitted a sound like a disappointed librarian. I have since stopped lying and started flossing. The fossil now hums green sleeves.
Yasmine, what is on your shelf tonight?
A jar of a child's laughter collected during a lantern parade. A jar of garden wind that makes statues blink. A jar labeled hope that glows when two people hold it together. I keep a ledger of what each jar learned before I sealed it.
What did the laughter learn?
That adults forget how to skip. The jar giggles every time someone walks past in business shoes. One time it snorted when a man tried to jog and negotiate a merger on speakerphone.
Ali and Luna, a few lines from the night garden.
We walked under branches that learned to spell.
We walked under branches that learned to spell.
The statues did not move.
Only their shadows danced.
Did you answer?
We said yes.
The lantern blinked twice and gave us a map made of petals.
It smelled like decisions.
And one corner tasted like regret.
We folded it into a paper boat and let it drift toward morning.
Dr. Parchment, a clock that translates now is a bold claim. How does it behave?
Circles change character when space bends. If you allow pi to vary within a precise transform and apply a fourth-dimensional rotation, a ring clock can keep several honest nows at once. When two nows agree, the clock chimes like a glass rim. People report a soft tug toward the decision they were ready to make.
Has it ever disagreed with you?
Once it rang backwards. I spilled coffee and apologized to a stranger I hadn't met yet. 2 weeks later, she bumped into me at a train station and said, "Thanks for the apology. I deserved it." The clock winked.
It's time to refill the coffee cup and open the phone lines. Caller 1, Derek from Limestone, Maine.
My lantern flickers when I lie about flossing. I think it's dating Julian's trilobite.
The trilobite reacts to dishonesty with a corrective click. Try flossing for a week and tell the truth. If the flicker stops, you have a verified behavioral instrument and a cleaner conscience.
Caller 2, Nia from Echo Bay, Oregon.
I found a jar labeled Tuesday. It smells like unfinished plans and socks that almost match.
That's a routine jar. Read one short poem to it on Tuesdays and complete one tiny task. The scent usually shifts to citrus when the jar feels closure.
Theo from Arrow Creek, Nevada. You're on the air.
My fossil hums the theme to a sitcom that never aired. I think it starred Ascension Burrow.
Fossils resonate with pattern vibration. If it repeats nightly, record the intervals. You may be catching an old household rhythm your home still remembers.
Caller 4, Mary Bell from Junction Hollow, Pennsylvania.
A lantern shadow waved at me, then mimed eating spaghetti. I haven't stopped craving noodles since.
Offer a small plate near the pantry and say thank you out loud. Shadow habits often settle when acknowledged kindly.
Jasper from Coldrew, Alberta. You're on the air.
My clock rang at 3:14 a.m. and whispered try again. I was baking a pie. It came out perfect.
Concordance moments around 3.14 can nudge decisions. Keep a notebook by the oven and repeat the timing. Your clock may be mapping a reliable window.
Lark from Thistle Bend, Vermont, you're on the air, and the lines, through the internet, and into the studio.
I held a jar labeled mischief, and my cat learned to open the fridge.
Relabel the jar play and place a bell beside it overnight. Mischief tends to soften when given a gentler job.
Omar from Driftwood, Texas, you're on the air.
My garden statue winked. I winked back. Now we're in a complicated relationship.
Bring flowers and boundaries. Statues respond to ritual and respect far better than mixed signals.
Caller 8, Sylvie from Moonbridge, New Mexico.
I dreamed of a compass that pointed to my ex's voicemail. I followed it. It led to a bakery.
Dreams root you to what feeds you, write down the pastry you chose and one feeling you left behind, then keep walking.
Caller 9, Ren from Fogtown, Washington.
My lantern casts shadows of people I owe apologies to. It's getting crowded.
Apologize to one name per night with the lantern lit. Shadows thin quickly when the debt is paid.
B from Lantern Hollow, Georgia, you're on the air.
I tapped a fossil and it played Bohemian Rhapsody in Morse code. My dog cried.
The tempo likely clashes with your dog's comfort range. Shift to soft, steady taps and see if the motif resolves into a lullaby.
Caller 11, Kai from Whispering Pines, Michigan.
I opened a jar labeled Truth and sneezed out my middle name.
Truth jars prefer small doses. Place the lid on loosely and speak one sentence you're ready to keep no more for tonight.
Caller 12, Tamsin from Velvet Ridge, Tennessee.
I clock timed and my plants bloomed early. I think it's flirting with spring.
You caught a local low latency now. Mark the date and hour, then water lightly at the next chime. Synchrony improves growth.
Caller 13, Felix from Crater Lake, Oregon.
A lantern shadow tried to sell me insurance. I said no. It vanished in a puff of glitter.
That's a transient mimetic. Refuse once, then sweep the glitter into a paper envelope and label it no, thank you. It rarely returns.
Caller 14, Mina from Candleport, Rhode Island.
My fossil told me a joke. I laughed. It cracked. Now it only tells riddles.
Seal the crack with clear resin and ask for the punchline in 3 nights. Fossils favor patience over applause.
Caller 15, Hugo from Stillwater, Minnesota.
I found a jar labeled regret. It glowed while I walked past my high school.
Open it outdoors at dawn and speak one kindness to your younger self. Close the lid after, and the glow should soften.
Caller 16, Sadie from Emberfield, Colorado.
My clock rang and my ex texted I'm sorry. I hadn't heard from him in 7 years.
That was an agreement chime between timelines. Reply only if your present self benefits, never because the clock rang.
Caller 17, Leo from Duskvale, Illinois. You're on the air.
My lantern flickered Morse code for don't trust the raccoon. I ignored it. I regret everything.
Lantern warnings are practical. Leave a small offering outside and secure the bins. Respect earns you quieter nights.
Caller 18, Juniper from Glimmer Bay, Alaska.
I opened a jar labeled yes. It whispered finally and turned into a bouquet of keys.
Choose one key tonight and one door next week. Too many yeses at once can splinter a path. Pace your openings.
Tonight's garden gave us shadows that order sandwiches, fossils that demand flossing, jars that laugh at business shoes, and a clock that knows when to say sorry before you do. If your lantern flickers, check your pockets. If your fossil scolds you, maybe buy floss in bulk. If your jar giggles, try skipping down the hall. And if your clock winks, offer it a slice of pie. This is Midnight Voices, signing off with one last lantern lit, one jar labeled Wonder on the shelf, and the quiet hum of fossils singing us towards sleep. Good night.